This is a HeadGum podcast.
All right. Ready?
Yup.
Get the burrito out.
You need a second? You need a second?
Okay, ready.
Jeez, me Christmas. No.
Wait, first thing I want to do.
Take a second.
First thing I want to do. Joyful, joyful, Lord, we adore thee. And in my life, I put none before thee. Before I was a youngster, I came to know that you was the only way to go. So,
see, I figured you was going to do that song. But
you were supposed to continue.
But the thing is, I wanted to do the other one. If you want to be somebody. What was that?
No, they're doing,
Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
When Jesus was.
When Jesus was. Wait, I have a real question. Is it when Jesus washed or watched?
I thought washed.
Washed.
Washed
Oh, yeah,
my sins
washed my
away.
sins away.
Hope, how does the other
Like
song?
you wouldn't watch your sins away.
What was the one?
If you want to be somebody.
But it was the other one.
If you wanna go
The
somewhere.
other, the one they were chanting in the classroom. Back in the day, I always used to say sardines and pork and beans. What is it? Cold greens. Remember they're like chanting.
Cold green?
Like remember like in the classroom when she first comes in.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're just like.
I don't remember.
And pork and
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what they were saying. Then there was another thing that they were saying when they were in the rap circle. They were like, make it up on the spot.
Is that how they did it?
It honestly was something like very like obvious like that.
Look, first off,
That was no. My
that's the
favorite
only part anyone knows.
Wait, my favorite part is when they're like showcasing that they can rap, and they're like, check it. Mary had a little lamb, her face was white as snow, and everywhere the Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
Check it.
Like, and that was it.
they're like, you're welcome. And she's
Check
like,
it.
wow, we've got skills in this
I was like,
room.
that's nothing. You didn't do anything.
Oh,
it wasn't
man.
impressive at all.
But
All
that
right.
one girl, I felt so bad because she didn't know Mary had a little lamb.
Yeah. It's really not that embarrassing, honestly.
See, that's the only part. You picked the good part.
Wait, but my favorite part is
Oh, hand motions.
because you know that I'm down with G.O.D. You down with G.O.D.?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with G.O.D.?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with G.O.D.?
Yeah, you know me.
Who down with G.O.D.?
Everybody.
All right, let's start.
Join the chorus.
Mighty, mighty chorus. They're dancing in the studio. Wow. All right. Guys, this is going to be a good podcast. Nick, play that music.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say?
You know what it is.
Black men can jump.
Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Yup. Hey, we kicked James off the show.
We didn't kick him off.
I said it. He came. He showed up. We locked the door.
That's not-
We're
none of this is true.
Get out of here, third.
All right. So James III he is acting right now. He has a paid performance that he's doing.
I like to say that we kicked
theatrical
him out.
performance.
Oh, that's right. He's doing theater here in New
He's
York
doing
City.
theater in New York City. Anyway, but we have an amazing guest.
I'm gonna do drum rolls. Wait for him. I'm gonna do drum rolls. I'm gonna
he's
do drum
not good
rolls.
at this.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna love it. Wait. All right. Okay. Stop staring at me. I want to do drum rolls.
I'm waiting for you to do the
Don't
drum.
look at me though.
What? Don't look at you?
Because you're staring at me. Don't look at me.
Oh my God.
All right.
Okay, I'll look at the
So
ceiling.
You're thinking about looking at me. I know you're thinking about it. Okay. All right. I'm ready. Wait. Okay. There we go.
No, what do you think that sounds like?
Not drum roll.
Exactly.
But I do appreciate it.
I was trying to make it like festive and like. Do I have a hip hop horn?
Okay, it's Naomi. Naomi Ekperigin is here.
There we go.
Writer for Broad City.
Hi.
And also, wait, I don't know. Do we talk about that? No. Okay. An amazing stand-up comic.
Yeah. I've seen you do stand up a couple of times.
How was it for you?
It was a great experience for me.
That's great.
Both
That's
times. I
good
saw
to
it twice.
hear.
It was like
It's good to hear.
out of body. I felt like I was on stage with you, and I was
Yeah.
like, that was a very welcoming experience.
And you host.
God.
There's the dog.
Thank God.
And you host a show here in New York City with your husband, right?
I do. It's called In Stereo, 2 comics, 1 stage, because someone else had a show called Couples Therapy, which was our original title. We received a cease and desist order
Oh, wow.
immediately. That show don't even exist anymore.
Oh, now that's-
They
wow.
came on real strong to the point where they were like, not just change the name, they wanted us to not do the show anymore.
Whoa.
Wow.
Obviously,
That
you
doesn't
cannot
make any sense.
mental illness.
They're not here, so
That's like somebody saying, like, you can't do a sketch show because I have a sketch show.
yeah, it's like chill out, man.
It's like, hey, sorry,
couples
man.
exist.
Bunch of people like, yeah.
I know.
They do the same thing.
I know, but anyway, In Stereo,
In
third
Stereo.
Tuesday of every month. That's how we do.
That's awesome. So today we are reviewing the film
excited.
Sister Act 2.
Sister Act 2, y'all.
Back in the Habit.
Back
Woo.
in the habit.
Starring Whoopi Goldberg.
Double meaning. Habit is in repeated action, and habit as in nun's outfit. Do you get it?
I
Oh,
get
we
it.
got it.
See, that's a writer
We
right
got
there.
it.
She knows
We got
those
it.
double entendres.
and the screen debut of the Lauryn Hill.
It is the film debut.
The film
Lauryn
debut.
Hill.
debut.
That's
film-
correct.
Was she
Hill.
making? Was she the Fugees?
It's actually the film debut of Jennifer Love
Hewitt. I was going to say Jennifer Love Hewitt,
Hold
but
on,
I didn't
also-
want to undermine the Black Power.
Yes,
what was
definitely.
the actress's name from? She's done Best Man Holiday. She is in this movie as one of the when they have the 3 soul singers.
Oh, okay.
She is one of the soul singers. Like if you watch the Best Man Holiday, she's the wife of Morris Chestnut.
Right.
And if you watch the
She's
Best Man,
amazing.
she is the person that the fight is all about. I gotta Google her.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I know
So-
what you're talking about, but I don't know her name.
So we have to talk about this just right off the bat, that we're doing Sister Act 2 instead of Sister Act, the original.
Right.
Because here's the thing is, like, this is, I feel like a quintessential 90s film.
It's so good.
Yes.
And for some reason,
Preach, brother.
everybody, it's like, I feel like everybody our age, people who grew up in the 90s, remember Sister Act 2 way more than they remember Sister Act 1.
Keep it going.
But Sister Act was actually the more financially successful and critically successful film.
Let's focus on Sister Act 2. You losing me. Go back.
I'm just saying. It's just an interesting, and I think maybe it's because they were kids, right? It was the high school.
It was the music. I feel like the music hit
The
too.
music,
I think the music
was the
hit harder.
jam, and it was like putting her because it was one thing for her to go into this world of stuffy nuns,
Right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's going to take it to the streets. This is like right on the heels, I'm sure, of Dangerous Minds, or did it come first? I don't know which one
Yeah, I
inspired
wonder.
which, but I feel
bet
like
you it
going
came
into the
first.
inner city and talking
good
street
question.
truth to the youth was very big in the 90s.
Oh my goodness! You guys remember that group City High?
Dangerous Minds came out a year
CITY,
after.
you can't see why.
Is
These
it-
guys, the neat guys, smart and
You
streetwise.
better stop it. Hope isn't the guy who the young gentleman the one who was all about Black Pride? Wasn't he the lead singer from This City High? Isn't he?
Oh,
City High?
that
Wait,
one.
is
What
it-
would you do if you saw
Yeah,
that
at
at home? Crying all alone
Yeah.
on the bed. That song really
'Cause
painted
it's
a
hungry.
picture.
Yo,
Oh
that-
my goodness!
I
That
know.
song was a rich, vivid picture that I really could not dance to. No matter how catchy they made that beat,
know.
I was like,
What?
you got to sleep with a man for a little bit of money.
I know.
The baby on the floor hungry.
See, I was cool with it till I saw the music video, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, oh, she just prostituted herself and went back home to her son.
And his daddy's gone somewhere smoking crack.
Woo, good, woo.
Smoking rock
okay, I'll say
now.
one thing
smoking
before we
rock
start.
now. Yeah.
Naomi, Broad City. Okay.
What is happening?
No. So we're doing Sister Act 2.
Right.
And
There was recently an episode.
So-
Are you going to talk about that?
so yeah, Broad City, right? So Broad City,
Brow City, bitch. Brow City,
they
bitch.
did a reenactment
Yes.
of a scene from
Sister
Act 2
Yes.
with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
That is magical.
It
That was
Did you take
magical.
Take part in this?
I did pitch that idea of them
I
doing
thought so.
Joyful.
Did
Joyful.
oh my goodness.
However, I did not. It never even occurred to me to get Whoopi.
That you could actually get
Yeah,
Whoopi.
that they could do that. I was just more like, they were like, what should, like when Alana leaves, I was like, what about a soulful gospel number? They're also excited.
Yeah.
And then I was like, joyful. Like we all know
Right.
that. And it's also of that, like obviously as the writer's room, we're all like within the same age range. So everybody knows that
Right.
moment, you know?
Right.
But it was like a real, my heart had never been so touched.
That's
Man.
amazing. that
Sean
she
Diston,
did
you were
it.
in that scene as a token black dude. Congratulations, my friend. because he was the black dude that was doing the joyful dance, and it was so exciting to see
right.
that. And I was like, it was so exciting. I was like, oh.
Now,
He's
wait,
in it.
I do want to know, like, did Whoopi know about the show? Like, did she know about Broad City, or?
Well, everyone knows about it.
It's bro.
I mean, that is true. All of our listeners definitely know about it.
Well, no, but I mean, I think it's even if they don't necessarily watch it, you know what we find happens? Like if they reach out to somebody, whoever their assistant is, or if they have kids, is like, no, this is a hot show.
Oh, got
so
it.
even if the
Yeah.
person is like, what is this program? They're
Right.
like, trust us, this is the thing to do.
Right.
And that's like what'll get them to be there. And then if you notice too, they do a lot of celebrities who are New York based.
That's true.
So that idea too of like, can you just like come down here for half a
Right.
day?
Yeah,
You
and
know?
it was quick too. It was like a quick thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was
And
like
it was
Exactly.
fun.
yeah, and it's Sister Act too.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we should talk about this movie.
I mean, listen. Can we do one more thing before we talk about the movie? I'm so sorry.
All right.
I feel like we got to bring up one thing about the Whoopi Goldberg. What is it called when you've won Grammy?
EGOT.
She won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar,
and a Tony. Woo! Whoopi Goldberg.
And do you know her Tony is for producing Thoroughly Modern Millie?
I
for
did not know
Thoroughly
that.
Modern, not for her show that was on Broadway and essentially launched her career. Yeah, I thought it was for that, and then I looked it up. Yeah, it's for
You just saying
producing.
EGOT gave me chills.
yeah. She's the first. She was the first African American woman to win an Oscar before. Like the first one was what's her name?
Hattie McDaniel.
Hattie
Between
McDaniel.
her and between Hattie
Between
McDaniel.
her and Hattie, which is like what
57 years.
Yeah, like a really 57 years.
I just made that number up, but it's. In the
I mean, it's
ballpark.
something like that. It honestly is
close.
because it was like 90. It was like 1930 something.
Yeah,
that
she was like
Gone with the Wind
39,
came out.
and then it was like.
And
80,
Ghost. She won
was it
for
80?
Ghost, which came out in like
Best supporting.
1990.
Yeah, best.
90.
And she did. Yeah, she didn't win for Color Purple, but she was nominated for the Color Purple for
That was
Best Actress.
her first movie, right? The Color Purple.
I think it might have been her second, but I think it was her first leading role for sure.
I
And actually, it might have been her first.
I think it was her first
Might have been
movie.
her first movie.
I just remember that one line that was so messed up. You show is ugly. It's like, oh man, how do you say that when somebody greets you at a door? That's
Yeah.
like so hurtful. But we're not talking about.
We're not talking about the Color Purple right
We're
now.
talking about Sister Act.
Yes,
2.
Whoopi
Sister
Goldberg.
Act 2, Back in the Habit.
Back in the Habit.
As we've established, this is a movie made by a powerhouse. Okay, this is a movie made by a woman with range, gravitas, abilities, both
true.
on and off screen.
She can do comedic. She can do dramatic. She can sing.
This movie was also directed by Bill Dukes, a black man.
It was directed by a black man. Now
was-
that I love to hear.
I didn't
It was
know
directed.
that.
Bill Dukes, as some of you may know from, sorry, I haven't weird Bill Dukes fact. Predator, which I think is one of the best action movies of all
He
time.
directed Predator?
No, he's in it.
Oh.
He's the
the Predator?
dark skinned black.
Oh,
dude.
he's a black dude who dies.
and he says, "I don't bleed." He does bleed because he
died. He
dies.
definitely
He
dies.
dies in that movie, so he didn't make it out.
Wow. So what you're telling me, he's a black director early on.
He's a black director.
Yes.
Well, Bill Dukes.
Bill Dukes.
Is
Bill
he-
Dukes.
I love
So
it.
the film came out in '93, just a year after Sister Act.
I know. They were like, we got to do
They're like,
this.
got to do it right away.
Strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
Let's make a second one.
Let's make a second one.
Which could explain some of the dialogue. You
Yeah.
know, they were really cranking it out. They had
Yeah.
to crank it out. They had to work within Whoopi's window.
That's
She's like, I can give
definitely
you
true.
4 weekends in November.
This movie
do
lied
it.
to me, though.
Why?
I mean, we're going to explain what the movie is, all right? But I want the people to know that I went to a Catholic school, all right, from kindergarten till senior year.
Okay.
And we had it when I was in 4th grade.
Wow, you went to a Catholic school?
Hear me
From
out.
kindergarten through senior
yeah,
year?
and my
I
kindergarten
did not know
through
that.
8th grade was this hood school, like how their school is in the
Right.
hood.
Yeah.
Mine was in the hood.
Were you
We're
taught by
like-
nuns as well?
We were taught by
Yeah.
nuns. So one of my favorite teachers, Sister Kim, got sick. We had a sub, right? And I watched Sister Act, and I was like, "Yo, we can get her. We gonna put
wow.
glue in the seat. We gonna because she had a little cushion because she was short.
you
Wow.
didn't.
She was short, so we put glue in the seat.
Did you coordinate with some other?
Oh no, it was a thing.
Every
this
day
is
class.
like people gonna talk to her in the
Wow.
hallway, be nice to her because she was
Yeah.
a mean little sub. So we in there we put
Got it.
3 different kinds of glue: regular
Jesus.
glue, regular glue,
Y'all were serious.
industrial glue, and then what was it
Goodness gracious.
the Elmer's
Yeah,
Elmer's.
Elmer's glue.
the whatever the
Super glue.
super glue. Put that in the chair.
Jesus.
You know what happened?
She didn't sit.
She sat, but she didn't get
Oh,
stuck.
she didn't get stuck.
She didn't
Nothing
get
got
stuck.
It
stuck.
just got sticky on her back.
Yeah, I mean,
side.
you saw like lint on her butt.
That's it?
Yeah,
That's it.
I mean, that honestly, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, now that I'm an adult, I know, but Sister Act lied to me. It's just like, it was like Home Alone. Like, if I thought people were breaking in my house, I was like, oh, snap, put up some traps.
Yeah, I'll
You
just
can
put
save
some
the
ornaments
day.
on the ground and I'll survive.
You know, save the day. Sorry, Braylock, you wanted to explain
That's
the movie.
hilarious.
Braylock is really good about explaining the movie. No, I mean, I don't know if you know, but
All right,
it's like
all
phenomenal.
right. Just a
trust
real
it. I believe it.
real quick recap for those of you who've never seen Sister Act or Sister Act 2. Sister Act, basically, her name is Dolores?
Dolores.
Yeah.
So it's this Vegas showgirl, not a showgirl actually. She's a
Right. A headliner.
a Vegas headliner.
Yes.
In the original movie, she sees her boyfriend like murder someone.
It's a white
Goes
dude.
on the run.
It's a white dude.
It's
It's like Ray Liotta or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
like
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah,
one of those guys.
it's a type. And it's not actually Ray Liotta, but it's a
Yeah.
type. And so she runs away. She gets put in protective witness protection.
Right.
She gets put into this nunnery. She becomes the choir director of like this very terrible, nun choir, and then like gets them to sing these like kind of soulful renditions.
She unlocks the flavor within.
That's exactly
much to Maggie Smith's chagrin.
Yeah.
Much
Okay,
to
Maggie
Maggie.
Smith has looked 90 since she was 50.
No, and the thing is, this is
Maggie
92,
Smith.
and she looks this old. Like
She looks
Maggie
exactly
Smith.
the same in Sister Act as she does on Downton Abbey.
Honestly.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And of course, she wins over Maggie Smith, and she wins over all the nuns, and then
There's
they
there's a quiet little sister.
Oh,
One
yeah.
who's
There's a
very
quiet
delicate,
sister.
She
quiet,
squeaks.
and she's like, "You can sing," and she lifts her up.
Yeah, and she sings good, and
What's
the
the
Pope
song?
comes, and the Pope.
What's the song from that? It's
The s-
Ain't no
it's-
mountain high enough.
No, that's no. I don't
She
think
sings
so.
that, but it's like a man, like nothing you can. That's it. Nothing
My-
you
yeah,
can do
my God.
can turn me away
From
My
my God
God.
instead of my God.
Get it? My
man.
God.
They have people,
Yeah.
they have people singing church songs, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm back in DC.
So it was cool.
We doing it.
Anyway, so that was that movie. Then this movie, honestly, the setup is absolutely ridiculous. They just
is it?
They had a
basi-
month and a half to write it.
They basically
kind.
just come to her and they're like, "Hey, so now we're all teachers at some school."
Yeah,
And like you kind of get the movie makes it feel like they've been teachers at the school for a long time, even though like they couldn't possibly have been.
No.
And so they're like, "We're teachers at this school, and it's hard. So maybe if you come in, you can help." But
Well, they're like in danger of being shut down. They're going to lose
Yeah.
that funding.
which they
and then
don't really know.
Well, no,
At
Maggie
the
Smith.
start.
Maggie
That's true.
Smith said, "I've been speculating this for months now." So I
Okay,
feel like, and
okay.
when they come to her, they're like, "We're on a
So
mission."
they kind of do. Oh, okay,
like, and they
fair
don't
enough.
know what it is, but
Oh,
we're on a
right. They
mission.
know that the school's going down, and they're like, come help us. Basically, it's like, the kids are brown, you're brown, can you help us?
Right.
But there was some
think
white
it's
kids
like
in there, though. I was like, look at this. You got
Jennifer
some white
Love
kids, some
Hewitt.
Puerto Rican kids.
And
Jennifer
one
Love Hewitt
Italian
and
boy who could rap.
Frankie.
Frank
Frank
K.
K.
Frank K. Frank K.
Where is that actor? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so many actors, it's like, where are you now?
Where are you now? The woman, I gotta look up her
From
name.
Hocus Pocus?
The woman who couldn't,
Anthony Jimmy?
who didn't know,
look
the
up.
woman who didn't know the Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Uh-huh.
She was the mother in this Nickelodeon show called
Yes.
See Dad Run,
She stay work.
starring my friend Rami Youssef.
Oh my God, the one
Yeah.
with Bayo?
With Scott Baio. She was Scott Baio's wife in the show See Dad
Get
Run.
outta
It's so
town.
funny because I was looking at her, I was like, man, she looks so familiar. And I was like, yeah, of course she looks familiar. You've seen this movie before. And I was like, no, something else. And then I looked up her credits and I was like,
Stay
See
work.
Dad Run.
Rami is nice.
texted
So Braylock
Rami.
watches your stuff.
I
He
texted
supports
Rami.
you.
I was like, she's in Sister Act 2. And he's like, all right. Why are you texting me this at 2 a.m. in the morning, which is when I watched this movie?
No better time. No better time.
Anyway, so basically, yeah, they're just like, hey, come help us. She comes, she helps, she gets these kids to like singing, and they start singing, and then they're just like, honestly, like 2/3 through the movie, they're like, oh, by the way, there's this contest where we could win like $10,000 and not shut down the school. Which I was like, why didn't you just make that the thing from the get-go?
Right, that they
Well,
would have,
yeah.
like, hey, there's a
It makes-
competition, we need you to come, like,
Right.
bring these kids, turn them
But
around.
they didn't know until they cleaned
didn't
out
know.
the music room
Right,
that
they
they
had to
weren't
clean it
told
out,
about.
they found all the trophies.
know.
And then they weren't a choir; they were a
afterthought.
music class. So she made them into a
Yeah.
choir.
Right.
So
Lauren
anyway,
Hill too, y'all. Man, Lauren Hill.
and then, of
man.
course, they saved the school with the beautiful rendition of Joyful, Joyful, which you all probably know even if you've never seen the movie.
I know, it's a great...
All right, first thoughts. Initial thoughts. Where were we? 25 minutes in?
21:10.
What are you looking up?
I'm trying to look up that song, man. The Pork and Beans song.
All right.
Okay,
well,
so what
while you-
I'm gonna say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I also like at the time that I watched that, I was also in. I guess maybe I just left Catholic school. I went to Catholic school from pre-K to
You went to
fifth
Catholic school?
grade, and then I went over to private school on the Upper
Okay.
East Side. Really big change. Now, I really identified with Lauryn Hill. I wanted to be a singer very badly. This is all like I was like, this is it. This is the dream. And the mother was like, put down that music.
I know.
You know.
Oh, man.
And my dad wasn't around either. I was like, oh my God, this is my life. This is my story. I truly, truly relate to all of this.
Man.
And
That's amazing.
so that movie has always touched my heart. Like, there's something about Sister Act 2 where I'm like, and it's just so of its time. Like, it is 1993.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
very
Like,
much so.
the outfits when they take off their choir robes, they're
Yeah.
like, we're going to be ourselves.
Right.
I was like, you all look like you're on Clarissa Explains It All.
Exactly.
It is like large flannel, cross colors, tights under ripped jean shorts. And I was like, oh, this is
Then the
life.
dudes had on like the jean shorts that went to like their
ankle.
and it's like, yo, put on pants then, bro.
Yeah.
Put on pants.
Yeah, the backwards caps, those colored shades.
Oh yeah, the
That's
shit,
what-
man. Which is now back in style.
You're right. 20 years, what is it, 30-year cycles or something like that? They talk about fashion. Anyway, so that I feel like I didn't see this. I definitely didn't see this when it like first came out. I think I saw it a couple years later, probably on TV.
Yeah.
But I liked it because of the music. And I liked this more than Sister Act. I liked this more than Sister Act.
Yeah, that's fine.
The music was so good. Everybody was on jam. Lauryn Hill blew us all away.
Yeah.
Lauryn Hill.
Come on.
Yes, and this was
The
before.
other girl who sang with her too. Who was she?
know.
Great.
Who was she?
She was
I mean-
probably in Escape or something.
She
Who
was
knows?
killing
Like,
it in that movie.
They were all in girl
They were all
groups.
great. They all the singers, but I would say like, and the Lauryn Hill wasn't in the Fugees yet. Actually,
No, she was not.
too
Lauryn
young,
Hill
right?
started as an. I did not know this, guys. You know, Lauryn Hill
didn't either.
started as an actor.
Yeah,
I didn't
she went
either.
to school with Zach Braff.
she went to school
in
Zach
Jersey.
Braff.
The
the
Jersey
Dirty
school.
Jersey.
And she was on like a soap opera,
Oh wow! I
like
didn't know
Days of
that.
Our Lives or something like that. Yeah, as a recurring character.
Wow!
And then this was her film debut.
wow.
Yeah, and then but because she sang so beautifully,
Yeah.
she also wanted to do music, and then obviously the rest is history. She got into the Fugees, and boom, 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 Lauryn Hill.
Man.
Yeah, but so she stopped acting.
And she
So
stopped-
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, she can't sing her own songs now because
Because Naomi, we talk a lot about rappers becoming actors, which
I
seems to
don't.
happen with a frequency that we are not comfortable with.
It's so funny because I was literally just talking to Andy about this yesterday. We were going to a friend's house in Astoria, so we're taking the crosstown bus. And first of all, there is a Scientology center on 125th Street, so shit's gotten out
Oh
of
wait,
hand.
on 125th.
125th and 5th, I said, girl, I lost my mind. I grew up in Harlem, so I'm also very
Yeah.
emotionally attached to the changes. And once the Scientologists came in, I said, this is a wrap. But
I did not know that. I haven't
I was
seen
saying,
it
like,
yet.
it's because, like, they make... Oh, yeah, because we were talking about Brandy. That's what it was. Because he was like,
Brandy.
Brandy has a
Oh,
new
man.
show. And I was explaining to him, like, Moesha. And then he was like, she was a singer? And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, they
Oh,
only
yeah.
let black people act once they've established themselves. with
Yes.
music.
Yes.
So they're like,
Yes.
we need you to be like,
Something
you need to
else.
be famous.
You
for
need
it.
you to
you
be
do something
famous.
else.
They need, they're like,
Yeah.
you, gotta,
You need to
I was
pull
like,
your own
Andy, I
audience.
was like, why do you think Mariah Carey was in Precious? Can we talk about it?
Right.
Please,
Like,
God, please,
literally, of all the
Lord.
actors, and I'm like, just give it to a singer who's already doing their thing.
Right.
Always.
Always.
Just
Exactly.
talking about it.
You're guaranteed to sell a couple tickets. You sell 1 million records. Oh, those are 1 million fans.
Right.
Who might come to this
Exactly, who
movie.
might come to the movie because they're like, we can't take a chance on an unknown Negro.
No, man, don't let it. Because we all know on this show we like to bring up you have to be an exceptional Negro.
Right.
To do
Which is
anything
so
in Hollywood.
interesting, though, because I thought that this is what because by the time I saw the movie, Lauryn Hill was famous for singing because it was only like the next year that Fugees like rocked like the nation. And so I think I probably saw it like 2 years after this movie came out. And so I thought, looking back, like, yep, here's another instance where they took a famous black singer, but she actually was an actor first and she hadn't started her singing career yet, which is interesting. But that being said, she's not the lead of this movie, and she actually doesn't get as much screen time as I thought she did.
As you remember?
As I remember.
Really? Because I think of her as definitely like she's the second lead. Like,
She's-
she goes
yeah,
Whoopi
definitely
and then
second.
Lauren.
She's definitely the lead of the children. Of the children. Of the
Teens,
the
the
teens. The
teens.
teenagers.
Under Whoopi, yeah, she's like the kid that everyone is supposed to care about.
Right.
Isn't her mom the mom from Moesha?
No, that
I
was
don't think
not
so.
the mom from Moesha.
Do not think
I
so.
know what you're thinking, and I always forget her name, who's the woman who plays that mother, because she was like
She
the
was like
woman.
crushing
Her name
like
is
the 90s.
Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Cheryl Lee Ralph.
She's been on so many.
Wait a minute.
Is she the mom from Moesha?
She's the mom from Moesha.
Moesha.
That was good. That was a
Really
good
Good.
pull.
You guys are
Motiva.
truly.
Honestly,
Well, I used to watch Moesha. Like
that was a good pull.
Me
I
too.
used to love Brandy. Was like
Brandy was my everything.
Brandy
I
was
used to dress
childhood.
like Brandy.
Yeah. Oh,
Literally,
man.
like I want to be down.
I didn't
Yeah.
like when she put Ray J on the show though. That's a whole nother
Well, I
thing.
mean,
Oh, man.
Ray J's made a lot of poor choices.
Oh man,
So
she put Ray J.
wait. So do we like this movie now?
Oh, hold on. Let me get my initial thoughts. Let me get my initial thoughts. Watching this movie,
Okay,
right?
okay.
I didn't realize it until I went to the end credits where they're like dancing in the
When they
white
did
room.
the "Ain't No Mountain
Yeah.
High Enough."
I realized I
Which is
saw this movie
better
in
than-
theaters.
Oh, you did?
I remember that part and
Yes.
seeing kids dance in the aisles and being like, "What's wrong with them kids?" Because I remember being young, and being like, "What's wrong with them kids?" So I
When you were
remember-
young, you were 90.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, I remember."
Go.
And I was like, this is the thing about this movie. It's like, and this movie definitely has faults, but like watching it, I just remember thinking like on Saturday, where are movies like this? Where are the feel good movies where an African American or a person of color goes back into a bad area? And the thing is, all the kids aren't black hood kids. There's like white kids.
No, not at all.
I mean,
Right.
there's like two Asians in the background.
There are two
There's white
Asians in
girls.
the background?
I mean, they don't talk. They don't talk. But there are two white girls. There's a white boy. There's a kid who loves being black.
There's got to be a Hispanic kid in there.
I mean, yes, a couple of Hispanic kids.
Yeah.
You have like, to me, it was cool to see just a person of color go back to the bad area and make it better, and it's a feel good movie. Whereas if you look at like a Dangerous Minds or a Blind Side or like any one of these movies, it's always like the white person is like, oh, let me go help out these kids, and it's all Negroes most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this one felt good just because it was just, and you know what? I went to a Catholic school, and like to me, going to Catholic school in DC, we had green and white uniforms, which was super corny.
Right.
This kind of made it cool to be at a Catholic school for a short. It was like,
Yeah, it's true.
you didn't get made fun of in the neighborhood for like a short period of time. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna rock out with this. But it definitely had faults. But I was like, so what, man? It's like, so what? It was fun.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just like, it's very much, it feels like I mean, I guess it is, right? It's a children's, it's a kids movie. It's like a family friendly film.
I would call it an 8 to 13.
8 to
winner.
13.
You know, like that's
Yeah.
the age where you're like, I get it. And it's like still cool.
Yeah.
You know, you get the jokes, but
Yeah.
you're like, yeah. And so definitely like when I was like 10, it's a feel good movie. And because like the singing is so good. And I mean, again, like it's Whoopi, right? So it's
Whoopi.
She can just she can make anything work. So like
Right.
the jokes and like the cheesiness. Remember like when they do the fundraiser performance and
Yes.
she's like playing James Brown?
Oh, so good.
Like it's like
It was so good.
only Whoopi. Only Whoopi.
It's
Only
so
Whoopi.
good. This movie actually did. I mean, it didn't make a lot of money, but the budget was $38 million.
And it made
That's a big
It made
budget.
57.
It made 57 million.
So I mean, it made, you know.
The other movie, like Sister Act, the original, made like 200 million, which is why they were like,
Did it?
let's go. Yeah. 200 million
That's
worldwide.
huge.
It made like 130 something in America, then like
China
80 something,
gobbled it up.
80, 90 something in international. No, not China.
I know, I just made that up. I just
China-
love the idea that China would have gobbled it up.
Honestly, when they
a
say
bump.
like when they say like films with black leads don't do well internationally, it's China that they usually don't do well in.
Right.
Which is so interesting. We have some Chinese listeners.
Tell us what.
Tell us why.
Talk to us about it.
Talk to us about that.
it.
So yeah, let's talk about. I mean, it's hard to talk. I feel like this film is not much.
Well, right, which is why, you know, I was like, oh, do they expect a hard-hitting conversation?
Right.
I just more so was like, let's talk about a good time.
Yeah.
That I never
There-
want anyone to
that's all
forget.
it is,
So
is a good
sorry.
time. Because- yeah.
Sorry.
But they don't talk
Only
about her
because-
being black or race in this movie at all.
They
do
talk about race like seldomly, but so the best character for race for our purposes
Whoops.
So,
Kathy
Frank-
Najimy.
is the what's his name?
Talk about Frank A.
No, not Frank. Well, yes, it's Frank A's relationship
with the other black guy.
Yeah.
Black
the other
dude who
black
has to-
dude. What's
who
his
has
name?
to work. He has a job.
Oh, he doesn't have a picture. That's
His name
why
is
I
Stereo.
can't find
Don't
him.
they call him like Stereo or Speaker or something like that?
Speaker.
Spreaker.
Don't they call him like
No, because he had a slave name.
No, you want the black.
I'm talking about the
African.
African dude.
The African.
Oh, the
dude.
boy from City.
The City High
They're not
remix.
called City High.
Wasn't it?
Are they called? Because the reason why I started seeing, I was seeing City Guys. Yeah, you're right, City Guys. Sorry.
Oh, you were talking about the TV show.
That's why I was rapping that
You're
at
talking
first.
about the
You
TV
let
show.
me go on. And then
Hey man, rap into those TV. We had black people on TV back in the day.
Okay, then I don't want to blame it all on 9/11, but stay with me.
Wait,
Stay with
what's happening?
Me. Stay with me.
I've lost complete control of the podcast.
Stay with me.
Her brain's by itself.
I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a rough podcast.
I'm sorry to all our listeners. Okay, what's
No,
happening?
I've had a lot of time to think about this. Okay, the 90s were a wonderful time for black television. The 90s
They
are why
really
I wanted
were.
to be an actor as a child. It
It's
felt
true.
possible. Then, I don't know if at 9/11 happened, they were like, let's not get the brown people feeling too powerful. They yanked it off the air. It was like, not actually to coincide, that's obviously going to be, that's obviously misinformed hyperbole. But I literally do mean that, like, around 2000, 2001, those shows went away.
We talk about it all the time.
And UPN, Underpaid
UPN,
Negroes, became CW.
Underpaid Negro.
Oh, and they
Became
don't put black people on
CW.
CW unless it's 1 or 2.
CW, I call that Caucasian woes. It went from underpaid Negroes to Caucasian woes. Because every CW show is just like a sad, sexy vampire. It's like, I'm a vampire and I'm sad.
But think about it though, because you had like, I mean, this is super off topic, but if we think about even the movies, like we had Sister Act 2, right?
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg had that other movie with Will Smith in it and
with Nia Long,
and
Ted Danson, where it was like she was Nia Long's mother,
Yeah.
and found out that her father would have
Was
been
Ted
white.
Danson,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
white, which is like a big deal because they were like very neo soul.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, what? I'm white.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then, I mean, think about TV. I mean, honestly, it was a lot of UPN and WB, but you had like Moesha. I mean, even on Fox, NBC, you had like Martin.
All of
you
it,
had
dude.
freaking, I mean, In Living Color. I mean, I would even get up to Homeboys in Outer Space.
I know that was
They
the
made
beginning
it
of
a
the end.
season.
That was the beginning of the end.
It was Homeboys in Outer Space.
That was
Right.
when it all kind of went south.
Yeah.
you know?
Now we
He
got
said-
2 black shows, and now everybody's so happy.
Wait, okay.
They good though, but
There is something that happened there that I don't understand.
I don't know. I got sad.
Okay. Here's what honestly, I'm trying to find this dude. Oh, Ryan Toby is the guy's name.
His last name is Toby. I'm just saying. Anytime I hear the
His
name
name
Toby,
is Ryan Toby. Ryan Toby.
stop saying his last name, man.
I'm just trying to find out what else he did. Like he disappeared from the face of the earth.
You want me to tell you what happened to him?
He's only been in. Wait, okay, he's an actor.
Omar Gooden took all
He
his
never
jobs.
did it. He never did acting again.
Omar Gooden took his jobs.
God.
Oh, he was a teacher assistant in some. This is not a real movie. In a movie called Prison Song. This is not a real movie.
Oh,
Prison
that
Song?
sounds like one of those.
Q-Tip is in it
Okay, now I should have had us watch
Oh.
that one.
in 2001.
Up.
He was a teacher's assistant.
That was going. That's down. That's
Was
down
he not
spiral.
amazing in this movie though?
He had emotion, man.
What happened? I
He had
wonder why he
range.
stopped acting.
What else?
He
What you
had
gonna put that
range.
dude in?
What do you mean?
Like,
He was a
like,
great
that-
actor.
I understand what you're saying, but he was. I'm gonna say it. He was a bigger black man, and he was light skinned. What movie you gonna put him in? He can't be the rough.
Bigger black
He can't be.
man.
He
I'm
can't
talking-
be the
do you know
rough
who I'm
guy.
talking about right
Oh, he's
now?
about the little African dude again.
Yes. Stop why do you keep talking about that other guy?
Because the
I'm not
other
talking about
guy, the
him.
other guy felt like he had emotions. He was sad when he had to go to work. He was sad.
I know. First of all,
I don't even remember
Okay,
the other dude.
here.
saying
Okay,
anything.
for the
can talk-
listeners, I feel like I'm in that barbershop scene in Coming to America. Like, I just walked in to 7 old black men, all played by Eddie Murphy, having a conversation with each other.
all right. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. Let's go. We're gonna refocus. We're gonna refocus. All right. Okay.
You don't count the 3. Let's reset at 3.
1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's a kid who's played by Ryan Toby. His name is Amal. Amal. That's the new name that he gave himself.
Right.
Because he had a slave name.
That his parents adapted to his American culture.
Right. Now,
Right.
he was slinging some truth bombs all over the place. But he was made to be, and it was funny, honestly. He was made to be like, they never really undermined him too much, but they were kind of like, let's make it a little joking. So we don't want to get too serious here. This movie is not serious. But he was saying he immediately was like, when Frank A was like rapping, he was like, why do you have to culturally appropriate? Which is
1993,
which I was like, this is amazing because
real talk.
we're still struggling with this thing now.
The Kardashians are wearing box braids right now, and people making it like they invented box braids. You ain't seen. I seen Katy Perry with braids, the poetic justice braids, and they're like, oh my goodness, braids are in style. Janet Jackson wore them in poetic justice.
I know. Yeah. So
Sorry, you go ahead,
He
bro.
was
I'm getting
doing
mad.
that. He was singing. So basically, though, that was his character. He just did that. No, Lauryn Hill, you're right. Lauryn Hill was the only kid who actually had any story whatsoever, any like kind of story arc. The other dude, like we saw one scene where he's like, get back to work, and then the next day he's like really tired. That's why he sleeps in class. But that's pretty much it. They don't develop that anymore.
Right.
Because there are too many characters in this movie.
There are too many kids. I think the idea is like, okay, let's show you a little bit more of the world, right? And whenever you do something in school, the only person you're going to invest in is the one whose home life you see anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like they were like, well, okay, who are going to be the ones? And then they were like, let's sprinkle it in. I mean, I love the woke young black boy. He was like my favorite. And I think they did it. What they basically did was they let him say all that stuff, but they just set it up as stuff he says all the time.
He says it all the
So
time.
nobody has to be like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's literally just like what he says. And so everybody's like, be quiet.
They're like, okay,
like,
you're going on about it again and again.
right. But it's like, but they don't say like, you stupid.
Yeah.
He said something to the black women in his class at one point when she's like, what is it? They talk about like they can't leave their boyfriends or something. It's like, when we go, we supposed to do, we can't go to, where is it, Hollywood? We got our boyfriends here or something like that. And Whoopi goes, well, there's a bunch of boys at other schools. And he says something real quick. What is it? Something my Nubian, like, he said something real quick about his Nubian sisters. And I was like, bruh, God bless you, man.
Yeah, he said,
Like-
he was also super smart too, like... Frank A. once he was like, "Oh, she's talking about electric." He's like, "I'm not electric, idiot. It's eclectic." And I was like, "My man knows words like eclectic up in high school."
Can
son.
we also say this one thing? My man was rocking a kufi throughout the entire movie.
And he
Real.
was cool though. He wasn't like a nerd. Like I was
Yeah.
like, oh, because I actually had a different. My memory of the movie was different. I thought he was like kind of picked on and not popular, but he was actually like one of the cool people.
He was one of the kids.
He was one
like
of the kids.
in it. He had the first solo.
He had the first solo.
He had the first
and
solo and hit that high note.
he was
Oh,
ready
man,
to
he was
fight.
killing.
Like he was ready to fight Frank A at one
Oh,
point.
because this is my thing, yo. Frank K.
Frank
all
K.
right, Frank K. had on a fitted hat,
Yo,
baggy
why?
shorts, and was rapping, talking about something. Hey man, I ought to check Frank A. too, bruh. Hey man, don't be coming in this school, Frank K.
I know.
All right, he was giving eyes to Lauryn Hill. I don't know if y'all peeped the eyes he was
No,
giving.
I did not peep
He was
him giving
peeping.
eyes to Lauryn
He was
Hill.
He was giving a little side eye, and I was like, who is Frank K. looking at right now?
Only Jerah noticed.
Oh, I was noticing Frank K.
The only one. Because I think they tried to set him up to be with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
See, I
At
thought
the end, when they were like,
they
let's
did.
make
They
them
did.
all couplies or friends
They
or whatever.
did.
Like
Got
him
it.
and Jennifer Love, or you know.
Right. Who's her character was just she
She said no
She's a
words.
she liked to make makeup.
She was like, it was amazing how few words she said. And that's what I mean. Like when you go back to some of the stuff in the 90s, right? And you look at that movie, who would have thought Jennifer Love Hewitt's ass would have stayed work?
She was the
all from
one. She
that-
was out of all of those
Yeah.
kids. She was the
She
most
got
popular
the
actress.
most.
None of them did anything nearly as big as Jennifer Love.
Can't
Like
Hardly
that-
Wait was a great movie, guys.
Lauren Hill could have, I think, if
But
she
she
wanted
did
to,
music.
but she
Yeah.
did music. So
But that's it.
that's
Yeah.
it. That is interesting.
You never know, you know?
Though I shouldn't actually. The actress that I was talking about, she's
went on to
she's
do
working.
stuff.
She's like a
She
worker.
stay work. She hashtag stay work.
She stay
Yeah.
work.
Can I ask one thing about Whoopi though?
We got to talk about Whoopi. That's what we're here for. Honestly, we're here
Sorry,
to talk
I'm just love
about
talking about this
Whoopi.
movie. Y'all got me talking about the 90s out
I
here.
know. We're
man.
having fun with this
Shit.
movie, but we need to talk about Whoopi.
And again, I didn't know how much the first one made, and even though this one did make a profit, I know it wasn't like a crazy amount, but the mere fact that Whoopi, I mean, honestly, like Whoopi in the 90s, a black woman led a movie that came out in the summer, like that's huge.
A
We don't have-
blockbuster.
We don't have black
Blockbuster
women
for Sister
in
Act, yeah.
2000.
Yeah.
Was it 2016? We ain't got black women coming out now. We ain't got a Puerto Rican woman coming out now. We ain't got an Asian woman coming out now in the summer, leading the movie with her own. And nobody on this
No.
poster but Whoopi Goldberg. It says Whoopi
true.
Goldberg, Sister Act. Who? Give me, outside of Halle Berry and Catwoman, which came out in 2004. What woman of color has led a summer
Headlined a blockbuster.
Headlined a summer block. Oh, you know what?
I mean,
I'm
you
making
have
it
to.
easy.
It's like, do you count Zoe Saldana's movies?
So Saldana doesn't lead her
She
own
doesn't
movies.
Doesn't lead them, and when they let her do it, she's blue or green.
Yeah, and not only
blue.
that, but it's
Yeah,
like
she's
Yeah,
not
because
actually-
because Colombiana wasn't.
Oh, was that?
Oh.
I think that came out in like September.
But
I was thinking
hey,
about Guardians of the Galaxy or Avatar.
Guardians of the Galaxy,
thinking of, but she was
Avatar,
green.
and Star Trek, where she's like,
But you know what? I would
alien.
give her was it?
or she's an alien in Star Trek.
No, she's a human.
She's
in it.
human.
What's the other one? Columbia. What is it?
Colombiana.
Colombiana or something like that.
That might. Boy,
I think it came out in September.
Hey, man, look, if we take what we can get, that counts.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anybody. I mean, Lucy Liu,
What movie Lucy Liu lead?
Charlie's Angels.
Man, Lucy Liu is the angel.
Ballistic X versus Sever.
God, you've really got some deep cuts in your brain.
Because there's not that many. We've been researching this stuff. Honestly, so Naomi, like people have been saying like you need to do more films with leading black actresses, and we were like, we know. There are enough to do for our podcast, but in the reality of the scope of things, there are not that many, which is crazy. And a lot of like people have suggested a bunch of Whoopi titles because like Whoopi takes up a huge. Other than like he's saying, it's like Whoopi, Halle Berry. How many black women have had long careers as leading black actresses?
Yeah. Not many.
So what do we think it is about Whoopi that like she was able to kind of just beat that trend? You know what I mean?
A legend already.
Why was she
Well,
able?
I think it's like Whoopi was already, because she had already gotten her Oscar.
Yep.
By that point.
She got her Oscar for Ghost.
So she was already. So it was like she was already like this big name. Also, let's not even talk about when she did Ed, but.
Yeah, that was later on, but
that was
why
later.
you bring that
But
up?
I'm saying
Why you
like
bring that up?
she was at the point where she was like she could do anything. And I think the thing with Whoopi is because she's funny, and I'll say too because she's not traditionally attractive.
Right.
I think what that gave, like, it made her relatable. It made her
non-threatening.
I was gonna say non-threatening, and it kind of like it allowed her to flourish in the comedic space. Whereas if you notice, give me movies with black women where they're not downtrodden, struggling.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me the ones where they've led that they're not slaves,
Right.
or they're not the help, or they're
Right.
not like any of those movies where they're not playing that low status in the trenches, so to speak, character.
Right.
And I think that like Whoopi was allowed to do it. I mean, Lord knows, it's like because also even like with Halle, she could do other things. Like she could be the romantic lead. Every now and then, a little hard boiled, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna hunt for the truth or whatever. But
Right.
when it comes time to give her an award, it's for having sex with a white supremacist.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like,
And
stay in your
he's-
lane.
He's
Like,
the one who
they're
learned the
not-
lesson in that movie too, not her. Just saying.
Right.
But no, but you
We'll
think about
do
that.
that.
It's like, for instance, to piggyback off what Naomi said, like when I think about Whoopi at this point already had an Oscar, and Whoopi has always been an outspoken person. Like, you know, Whoopi ain't playing. Whoopi reminds me of that aunt or that grandma. Was like, I ain't doing that shit. And I feel
Right.
like you wouldn't have got Whoopi to do a movie where she was a slave. Like, she's just not like she has a regalness to
Right.
her. Like,
Which is interesting. I think so. There's two things that I was reading about. One is that her Broadway show, her one-woman show, which got rave reviews, and HBO wanted to make a special out of it and did. That's where Steven Spielberg saw her, was her show. And he wanted to do The Color Purple, which is a book. Now, that book does heavily deal with the black struggle. It's
Right.
not slaves, but it's like...
Right, it's still you're still
it's an inner
downtrodden.
You're still
struggling.
downtrodden.
You're
It's
poor in the South.
Yes.
struggling.
and so that's what she got her national attention for, right? Like she was like, it was like the industry attention came from her one-woman show, and then the national spotlight came from The Color Purple, and she got a nomination, and I think won the Golden Globe, but didn't win the Oscar. And so that happened, and then she was like, but because she did the show, people are like, wow, she can be funny and serious, so we can put her in a bunch of things.
and she had comic relief at the same time, right?
She had Comic
Right,
Relief come
I
out
forgot
like a
Comic
year after or something.
Yeah.
So it was like boom, 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 you know, and like, yeah, basically what Naomi was saying. So she was able to start picking and choosing her own projects. People complained that she was diva, of course, because
That happens if you're a woman, period. It's like
that
the
happens
moment
if you're a
you
woman.
say-
But if you're the only black woman who can greenlight a movie,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
And
they're
you, like,
going
have
to cause you,
standards.
yeah,
If you have standards, I'm like, she's difficult.
right.
I mean, the moment they probably were like, "Hey, all we have is whole milk. And she probably was like, can I please have almond? And they're like, oh, this woman done lost her mind. I don't want to work with her. She want almond milk. That's
But
what
there's
happened.
one other thing I want to talk about, which is we've noted this for other people too, was that she was in with the kids.
What do you mean?
Like, she got to do family, like, her stretch, like, what continued her stretch
Corinna
was family. Like, even this, Sister Act 2,
Sister, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
you're
movies
right.
like Eddie. Like,
Eddie.
they're like
yes.
family-friendly movie. Like, she did The Lion, she was in The Lion King, you know what I mean? Like, we talked about this with Sinbad and who else?
Well, Sinbad was the main one because we're like, you know, what happened to Sinbad. But I think what helped.
Oh, well,
Whoopi
Kenan
out-
and Kel.
Yeah, but I think what helped Whoopi out though is that Whoopi just didn't do, like, don't get me wrong, like we know Whoopi from movies because we grew up with that. But I feel like as we started aging up, Whoopi started doing a bunch of other things, right? So Whoopi
Daytime
started
television.
doing, she started doing way more TV. Remember, she had her TV show, at one point. Then she went on and she kept doing stuff on Broadway. And then after a while, she got on The View. So it's like, you know her as this icon
everywhere,
already.
yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Of course.
She was like a born legend. I mean, if you want to be honest, like she was like, she came out with Color Purple. Color Purple hit so hard because it was this thing. And the reason I remember it, because I read about it, was like people of color were so upset that Steven Spielberg was doing it. How could he take on this black book? Like it's whatever. And the movie came out and the movie was so good and so raw that when she hit, her first movie was an Oscar movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Like immediately. And then after that, people who didn't see that movie, the next thing they saw was her teamed up with two of the most friendly, most popular white comedians of all time.
Right.
You know, like Robin Williams and was it Billy Crystal? Two of the most popular white. Billy Crystal and hosted
And then
the
she
Oscar
did,
like 17
and then
times.
and then so did Whoopi, right?
Right.
Whoopi hosted the Oscar like 4 times.
Right.
because she became what we talk about sometimes, which Will Smith has achieved. She became colorless.
She did.
She became somebody who
actually-
was brown,
And
but
then-
people didn't see as brown.
And she actually became genderless. I think
did.
a
Well,
little
definitely.
bit. Even
sure.
though she was a staunch feminist,
Yeah,
Like
but
she-
she was because she wasn't sexualized.
she wasn't sexualized.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
she's-
saying.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
That's a
She's
good
a
point.
woman, but she's very much like made asexual. I mean, even though it's crazy because it was such a big deal. She was like, I don't know if they were legally married, but she was with Ted Danson for a real long time.
Right. He was
hot
like,
in these streets. He was
thank
hot in
you.
these
Like it was like
streets.
Ted, like
Yeah.
Cheers.
Right.
Ted Danson and Whoopi.
Right.
And then she was also for a minute with like not a minute, like a while probably. Frank Langella.
Right.
Whoopi had some high
Wow.
Oh, Whoopi
profile.
was out here winning,
white
Whoopi.
dudes,
Right.
But like who were like top of their game, the most popular ones.
Actually, this is a good segue back into this movie just for a little bit. I read this New Yorker article that the original screenwriter for this film wrote, and he originally wanted Bette Midler to play the
Yes, Whoopi's character.
Whoopi's character, and he wanted to do a film that wasn't so PG. He wanted it to be a more PG-13. He wanted to delve into the sexual, like thinking of a nun, like what kind of woman would go in to nunnery? What are the like? So he thought it was
interesting to me.
he thought it was funny and also interesting to have a
hypersexualized
woman in like a
repressed
Vegas thing
environment.
go into this nun environment. And when he did his research and stuff, he found out like lesbians used to go into nunneries as a safe haven because like they could be there and like it wasn't as easy for them to get called out because they never had to marry a man because they took a vow of abstinence. Then nobody would question them, so they could have their relationships inside of the nunnery. Anyway, Disney didn't want any of that. They're like, no. And eventually, Bette Midler dropped out, and then they got Whoopi aboard. And then this guy, after like all these notes, after they kept like watering it down, and they were like, make it more family friendly. He was like, all right, I'm done. And he didn't. He did talk once about the relation in the original Sister Act. About the relationship between her and I guess the detective,
yeah.
in the original movie, and like I think that detective is played by a Hispanic actor, and they were having this like, oh, we don't know what to do. Should we get a Caucasian or a black actor? Like, if we get a Caucasian, is that progressive, or will black people be upset? Like, so they didn't know, and so they were like, oh, and so one person was like, oh, Hispanic, that solves it, and then the screenwriter was like, what do you think? Like, if a white person and a black person get together, they make an Hispanic baby? And then he said that, and the executive said, yes. And then he couldn't, he's like, to this day, I don't know if that executive was joking or not.
Can I just say a side note? And Naomi, you're a writer, and this is one thing that fascinates me.
Yeah.
I heard a writer of a famous TV show. I'm not going to say the name of the show. It rhymes with plurals. She said, one of the reasons why there are no people of color on her show is because she doesn't know how to write that type of character. And maybe, I'm just asking you to clarify. Right. Maybe I'm thinking writing or something else. Like, for instance,
I think she's evolved her position since she said that.
She's had to. But my thing is, like, and I feel like this might still be a thing where it's like, I feel like if you write a character, right, you don't have to write it for a black person. Like, say you wanted to write like a female teacher, right, who was going through a struggle of being a teacher and being sexualized. You could just write that character without specifying the race of that character, right?
Yes, of course you can, but, and I think it's not even just as a writer, but also I think we can all say, like, as actors, Caucasian is considered the norm and the baseline. Right. So unless you say something, that person is going to be made white. So I don't think the actual words the person says should change, but I kind of will just make people different races just cause. Yeah. And I'll write it just to, like, kind of populate your brain with different colors. Because if you don't, it's always going to be white, or the things I go out for sometimes, where it'll be like, any ethnicity. I'm like, you mean white? Right. Like, you may say any, but it's like, what you want, or like when I get some out, like, ethnically ambiguous.
Right.
You mean white or very close to it.
Right.
Like, to the point, anyone who could pass. Anybody who could pass.
If you do have an ethnicity, you need to be able to pass.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Keanu Reeves, or like there are certain
Antonio
people
Banderas.
who,
even though we know
Spanish, he's just straight Spanish.
I know, but he's not like Javier Bardem,
No, he was, but I mean, like, it's like, do you guys ever remember the movie The Wedding Planner?
Yeah.
Where Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez.
Or the woman who was on The Six. The woman who was, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm real.
Right.
Her character was Italian.
No,
she was Italian
because that came out at the same time. Wow. For the Block. That's when she had the.
Exactly.
That's when it was Jenny Summer when she had the movie and the album.
Italian.
Wow. No,
rewatch that shit. The guy who plays her father. It's like she's supposed to be from. I was like, what are we doing? Right. But like, literally, it's like,
that's funny.
Just don't put on her bronzer. They're gonna make it work.
And Out of Sight, was she also Italian? Wasn't her dad Italian? Hold on a second, J-Lo.
All right, oh my God, how did we get here?
Oh, no. I'm not letting this go.
No,
I'm about to Google this
we're starting
right now.
We're starting with the options for women of color.
Options for women of color.
Don't worry. I think it is around the central point of this movie,
right, and
the popularity of this movie. Maybe it didn't get those numbers, but remember, it is a sequel, which means that first one got the numbers.
Right.
So we're looking at, okay, what is it about Whoopi and what she was doing? And
yes.
she was in a very she was truly #blessed to come out and have those successes in a row that gave her some agency.
Yes.
And I think that, like, the thing about that movie, the thing about Sister Act 2 that was, I mean, obviously it was about, inner city kids and the struggle of their school. But they depicted stuff. I think what I remember, though, obviously it's a kid's movie, so part of it is heavy-handed, but at the same time, I didn't feel like it was so heavy-handed. By that, I mean, I didn't feel like the kids were such sob stories.
It wasn't. They weren't.
In the same way,
stories.
So many of those kind of movies where you go into inner cities, like, every kid is living hand to mouth. And these were kids where it was like, I may have an after-school job, or we don't have money, but, like, I'm okay. And I think also, too, what you find in that grouping of kids through, obviously, the choir and stuff, they all have a talent.
They all have it. They're all talented. They're all smart in some way. They all have obvious, clear potential. And it's like the adjustment that needs to be made is so small. No, it's true though. Yeah. It's just an attitude adjustment. It's just it's like Whoopi comes in and is kind of basically like, I get it.
You think you know everything.
You think you know everything, and you're also tired of, like, this system, or there's trouble at home or whatever. But I'm just telling you, like, just work a little harder and, like, care a little more, and you're gonna do great things.
She gave them hope.
And it was like, and I did appreciate that, because it wasn't. That's the thing, is like those movies usually are very heavy-handed. They're usually very much like, oh, these poor people, they can never get out. There's no way they'll ever get out of this, unless somebody, like, grabs them and just has to like be there. And Whoopi's just like, I'm just gonna let them actually do what they do and be like, you can rejoice in your who you are, which is that. And of course, it's very light. Everything is very light. You can read into this more.
Yeah. But I feel like it didn't need to be.
But it didn't need to be heavy. It was fun.
Because to me, it's like, and I think you touched on it. Like, for instance, Lauryn Hill's character. Like, I know growing up in DC, you didn't do the arts. Like, unless you had Duke Ellington, but those were for kids who like.
What was that, an after-school program?
It was Duke Ellington was the school Dave Chappelle and Martin Lawrence went to. It was like the LaGuardia of DC.
Okay.
But if you went there, like there weren't a bunch of hood kids going to Duke Ellington. You know what I'm saying? That just wasn't how it was. If you were like in this movie, it's like, no, man, the arts. You want to do movies? What the? Man, shut up! Go read a book. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what it is. Because that's all people know. Because I remember the mom in this movie. The line she says is, your dad can sing too, and your dad died chasing that same dream.
Right.
And it's the thing of like, there's like, even at home, even as a thing of like, you're taking away hope from kids.
Right.
Yeah.
That little thing coming from your mom is like taking hope away, which I feel like a lot of kids could touch on without it being so like force-fed down.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it right now. Like, anytime a school needs to make a cut, it's always out of the arts. Art program, first one to go all the time. And that's the program that gives people an outlet to think and be creative instead of being like so systematically. Oh, and side note, in Out of Sight, Jennifer Lopez's dad is played by an Italian man. So I guess she is Italian in Out of Sight as well. J-Lo.
She's Jenny from the Block, man.
Is she though? Which block?
Don't be fooled by the rocks that she got. Oh, man,
I mean, no, man, I like this movie. It's just tricky because it's a thing.
There was one line. There's one line that I did want to bring up, which was the guy, like the guy who was going to close the school, the big bad white guy. He did say one thing when he came in, and they're like, how are we going to find them? And he goes, just look for the choir that looks like it just robbed a liquor store. I was like,
say that.
Say what?
He did say
He
that.
straight up just said, just look for, and I was like, now, they're all clearly wearing robes. This was before they took off the robes. They've never done that before. So that means you were completely talking about their skin color.
Of course he was. Well, he was hilarious. This idea that he was literally the epitome of white power stuff. He just like, I don't understand and I don't like it.
I don't like it.
That was his whole thing.
But also,
there were
it's kind of
1,000
creepy
characters
too, though.
in this movie, by the way.
It was kind of creepy because he
1,000
knew who she was,
characters.
though, off break. He's like, how do I know her?
Yeah, I know. I was wondering that too. I'm like, how do you know her?
Creepy
She's
old
the
man.
biggest
What you
showgirl,
doing?
but what do you know? What you know about that?
I think we know many white men of that ilk.
Oh, yeah. They don't
He's
He's
know
gonna go
that.
watch a certain show.
They know
all the
that.
time.
And he says it immediately. He's like, how do I know
I know.
my
He knew
sister?
her.
He knew her.
And I was to himself, not even to the room. I was like,
know.
you freaky old man, look
know.
at you.
Freaky old man.
He was
You
real
nasty.
creep.
But there is, can I, okay. So
It's
Naomi,
time.
there's a segment on the show I like to call The Swirl. All right, and knowing this segment, right, we realize even though this movie has a woman of color, usually like we review movies with a male of color, and they're leading the movie, and there's a white woman in the movie, they're their friend. Like, they're never the sexual lead with this. It's like, it's forbidden. So I like to point out in movies
Forbidden love.
where it could have been a swirl, and this movie could have had a swirl.
You know, Naomi is in a swirl.
You in a swirl?
You ain't know that?
No.
Small too.
Can I ask you a real life swirl question? Can I ask you a real life swirl question? Because I find that most of my African American female friends in comedy all date white men.
Yeah.
Is
Right, Phoebe had to,
well, Phoebe did. I mean, Jonathan, you and Tessa are the only.
yeah, we're both mixed.
Yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
but
well,
is she a comedian?
She's yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But like when I think about you, Caroline, Keisha, Mo, like almost literally.
She has dated some white men, though. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
That's too much. Maybe that's too TMI. TMI.
Oh no, that's enough.
That's about to kill you. But I guess my question is it I'm just curious. I feel like it's just a trend. It's not a trend, but it's something I'm seeing. Is it because it's because there's more maybe in the world, especially in New York comedy, there's more like white guys who are approached, or is it just?
Oh, definitely. But then it's so funny you say that because I would say that then there's so many black dudes who have white girlfriends,
Right.
in the comedy
Oh.
thing too. So
Really?
it's like I was like when people, because this is about whole theory too. It's really funny because I feel like this. I feel good about it. I found it a silver lining. when I'm with Andy and we up in Harlem and I just, I'm just looking regular like I do today, nobody say nothing. When I put on my makeup and some effort in, suddenly I'm a discredit to my race, okay? And I'm like, I look good today if the black men are angry. Because my point is, it's not like I chose Andy over a black guy.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like I had this lineup of people and was like, yo. It was like, this is the person I met who expressed interest, who had a shared interest.
Right.
And then that worked. You know what I mean?
And then
I
it was
think,
reciprocated.
Right. And so like that's like kind of why that happened. I think it does. I think it has to do with like in New York, perhaps the white men who come here, they're bolder. They're ready to make a change. They're ready to do something with their lives.
See, I like that because, I mean, once we start getting these mixed babies in there and just flood the population with mixed babies, then no one can say, oh, black, white, whatever, we all the same thing.
Well, they're going to find a way, but I do believe the revolution will be taupe. But I do think even once we all start coming in, it's going to be like, well, you a little closer to eggshell. And you a little closer to beige.
Are we going to get straight shaders?
We will become shaders.
We're going to shaders out here?
Shaders. All right.
So the swirl that could have happened in this movie, right? Okay.
Here we go. Music.
Oh, yeah. This is the thing. So at one point in this movie, Lauryn Hill's character, I'm doing it for Lauryn Hill.
You're going to do it for Lauryn Hill.
Do it for Lauryn Hill. Because Whoopi
that makes sense.
Because Whoopi already had
And also, we've already established Whoopi's asexual. Honestly, why do they? Whoopi should have had some love interest or something.
Well, technically, the first one, her lover was a white dude who was chasing her, so I feel like she's already. No, I mean
and then she had a Hispanic dude, but then where did that guy go? He did not come back for the sequel.
Listen, man, things were tough. They couldn't get a Hispanic dude in there, man.
All right, continue.
They had to do it quick. Anyway, so what happens is Lauryn Hill's like, let's get out of here, guys. Do we want to? What's this messed up? We don't want to learn, do we? We don't want to learn from this sister. And she's like, who's with me? And then nobody stands up with her. Frank K. Frank K stood up, and Frank K looks down to what's the kid with the dashiki? What's his name?
Amal or something.
Amal.
Like
He looks down at Ahmad. Don't worry, I stand with you, sister. And he gets up and walks out with Lauryn Hill, right? And they walk out.
Wait,
and they
what?
He gets up because he tries to.
Doesn't.
He
What are you
gets
talking
up.
about?
I'm rewriting the movie.
Oh, you're rewriting the movie.
Y'all know how this works. I'm rewriting the movie. Come on, y'all. What is happening on this episode?
I literally forgot.
What is happening on this episode? All right, so listen. All right, so they get up. All right, they get up and they walk out. And as we know, this is San Fran. So the basketball courts are on the roof, right? So they go up there and they sit down on the bleachers and they have an intense conversation. And she's like, "Man, I just feel like a lot of pressure coming from home." And he opens up about why he acts black, and why he shouldn't be acting like that. But he just feels like this is who he has to be to survive.
I like that.
And next thing you know, they're sitting there having this intimate moment of like her mom is going through some stuff. His dad isn't there, so he's learning from hip hop videos because he's the only white dude in the class.
Wow.
So you know what I'm saying? So
I
now they
like
have this
it.
moment. Next thing you know, they realize like, oh, it's getting dark in the light. The light comes on. Now it's just a single light above her. And then once that light hits, they both look up. And you know that move in the movies where it's like, oh, we about to kiss right now? And it's that, and they both realize
And
it.
in slow motion.
And it's a slow motion kiss because they're in the Catholic school, so they can't touch. So their arms are by their side the whole time. They can't touch, but they kiss, and it's so deep and passionate. Boom. Swirl happened, and it was beautiful. You were worried. Nobody was worried. She's like, what do you think about this? But it wasn't that bad of a swirl.
Honestly, that was the least offensive swirl.
That was a very delicate
That was
swirl.
good.
Listen,
That was
sometimes
soft
it's
serve.
sexy. Sometimes it's sexy. Sometimes it's beautiful, you know?
My coworker was listening to our podcast and skipped over the last swirl that we did, the Catwoman swirl. He was like, nope, because he had Halle Berry and Sharon Stone having a lesbian sex scene, and my man's like, what's wrong with lesbian? I'm like, it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with two iconic,
They were the
gorgeous
leads.
women
They were the leads.
having a. Neither of their characters were lesbians.
This is my thing. If we did Star Wars,
Anyway.
I would have made Finn. If we did that again, I would make Finn and Pope homosexual. It's cool.
Okay, yeah, but that's different. That's because we don't know their. We don't know we're introduced to those characters.
We're introduced to Sharon Stone. And Halle Berry.
Sharon. All right, whatever. I'm not doing it. They both had male interest in the movie, the entire movie. Okay.
Next is The Cause.
The Cause. We don't have James III here to talk about what movie is he talking about now?
I think he's doing like James does a bit where he talks about the thing is we love Will Smith.
yeah,
he
we love
always
Will
picks
Smith.
a bad Will Smith movie to try to taint Will
Yeah.
Smith's a good name.
So he used to always bring up, is Hancock a good movie?
which is not.
If After Earth was a good movie.
It is
and
not.
they reviewed After Earth finally on the Blink Check podcast. And it's not a good movie. And then what is?
I think he's
doing.
doing Bagger Vance now.
Oh, Legend of Bagger Vance.
That's when he plays the magical Negro.
Have you done a whole like
I've never seen that.
magical Negro series?
We talked about the
should.
Magical Negro.
It's just hard to
we
watch,
talked about
man.
it in do we have a Magical Negro one?
I don't think we've had a
Movie
magical
yet?
Negro.
You haven't done the Green Mile?
We haven't done.
we have not
You
done
know
the
why
Green
we
Mile.
haven't done a Magical Negro movie? Because we haven't done a Morgan Freeman movie yet.
That is true.
And the Green Mile is a great one.
That Negro done played every.
I guess it would actually. Anyway,
It's really
we should
about
do.
Tom Hanks,
We should
but-
definitely do Shawshank. Okay. What we're gonna do now, though, is talk about. We're gonna do The Cause. So The Cause is we rate the film not based on how much we liked it, but how much it helped the cause of more leading black actors in Hollywood in major motion pictures. So we give it either a black fist, meaning
One
it
fist.
completely helped the cause, a white palm, meaning it was so-so, or nothing, meaning it didn't help at all. Okay.
I'm going to give it a black fist.
Oh,
Wow.
right out the
What, he
gate.
just went out.
Right
What?
out the gate.
I'm not
All
here to
right.
make friends.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, I know I'm gonna do it.
All right, we're gonna count down for us. Oh, you
I just gave it a black fist too.
You know
I
what?
just jumped the gun. I just jumped the gun on him.
I didn't know how it was played. I didn't realize
I'm
we were
gonna
all
give
gonna say
it.
together.
I'm gonna give it a black fist too.
Don't feel peer pressure.
You don't feel pressure.
No. This movie gets a black fist.
You want to go first? I feel like you're questioning it. Do you want to wait? Naomi, do you want to go
Yeah,
first? You were
you-
so.
Say why I believe
Yeah,
it deserves
yeah,
a black
yeah.
fist. I'm going to say two. I mean, the leads, two dark-skinned women as the
true.
leads. We had some braids going.
Had the
we
braids.
Had Whoopi
Oh, and
not
Whoopi's
being-
natural hair. Oh, I can't believe we didn't talk about that. Amazing. I was just like,
And she had a wig too.
They
at one
were.
point,
They didn't
too.
say like, hey, you got to straighten that hair. They're like, nah, go out and the bigger the better, and it's beautiful.
And half the time, her what
And
is it
nobody's
called?
talking about it.
What is the headpiece?
The habit.
The habit. Half the time, you could tell it didn't fit her because her head was so big. It was like on the back of her
Hair was
head
underneath.
because her head was
Right. She had a real kind of lean back,
Yeah.
forehead free. And again, because the movie. Because in a way, I think it was a little flip on the first one, which was her going to these white nuns, and
Right.
being like, "Here's soul," and here's
Right.
a great. And then this one was the white nuns being like, "We can't do this alone. Whoopi, will you come and talk to the children?" And then she was like, "Okay." And then it was like, "Fill us with the light of day,"
Light
of day.
Oh man, I just want to piggyback. I know, man. I think you hit it right on the head. It's two dark-skinned black women. I think it's key because you rarely see that.
True.
And this movie came out 1993. What is that? 24, 23 years ago.
Holy crap.
23.
And the thing is, like, even in that 23-year span, we're having trouble coming up with a woman of color, any woman of color, to lead a movie by herself.
Jackie
during the
Brown.
summer.
I just thought of another one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Jackie Brown. I mean, the mere fact that we got to four including Halle Berry.
We're still doing it on one hand.
In 23 years is crazy. The fact that she accomplished that, the fact that the first one made so much money, and that fact that this one even made a profit. I love that the kids in that classroom were diverse in the actual sense of diverse.
Right.
Meaning that you had white kids in there, you had black kids, and it was just not a thing. No one called. Like the only time Frank A was called out was because he spoke in
pretending
slang
to be
because he was
black,
pretending
right.
to be black in that exact moment, which he should have been because he was appropriating black culture, just like these people nowadays are taking box braids and braid.
Oh my God. Okay, baby.
I'm sorry.
We got you. Talk them down.
As you guys can see, I was a kufi wearer back in the day, like trying to preach something. But also, it was cool too that the director Bill Duke was black, and it just
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
it was just nice and a happy movie that a woman of color went into an urban neighborhood and helped out.
Yeah.
Like, how often is it that a person of color gets to go back to the hood, if you will, in a movie and help? Usually, I mean, we think about it. We talk about Michelle Pfeiffer. We talk about that movie, The Substitute.
Yeah.
Like,
There was
it's
that
only-
one that my parents talked about, the Sidney
Yeah.
Poitier one.
I mean, technically,
Oh,
it's
no,
been
he
three.
helped out white children.
He helped out white kids, which is crazy. I mean, technically, the only other time a black person helped out in the hood is Lean on Me, which was
Wasn't
again.
there one where
with the Magical Negro.
an Hispanic teacher helped
That's-
out some kids?
Well, Lean
yeah.
on Me was
Stand and
Morgan
Deliver.
Freeman.
Oh, is that Stand and Deliver?
Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Stand
Morgan
and Deliver.
Freeman helped out people on
Yeah.
Lean on Me. I mean, I just
Coach Carter.
Oh,
Kinda.
he played
He's a
basketball.
coach.
It's good
Yeah,
enough.
not
Whatever.
exactly.
It counts. He
Not
helped
exactly
out.
the
Oh no,
same.
coaches count. Coaches
Okay.
count.
Yeah, that's why I like it. You go ahead.
Yeah, I give it a black fist because, I mean, it's actually, Naomi kind of hit it on the head right in the beginning with the idea that in the 90s, it was just a better time.
It was a better time to be black.
It
and
was
have
a better
dream.
time to be black in the industry. It just
Have a dream.
was.
You had
It
more
just-
outlets.
Because there were, you think about it, like all these huge stars, like Whoopi, Wesley, Smith. You know what I mean? Like you had all of these, and then not to mention all the TV shows with Brandy and
Jamie Foxx had a
Jamie
show.
Foxx had a show.
Foxx.
D.L. Hughley had a show. Damon Wayans had a show.
Harvey.
Harvey, the
Living-
Parkers,
Living Single.
Living Single, Sister.
Everything.
I mean,
Smart guy.
smart guy, like
Keenan and
can we-
Kel.
that's how good it was.
My Brother
that
and
there
Me.
was spin-offs of black shows.
Spin-off.
Cousin
We got
Skeeter.
the spin-off. Okay, in the 90s, we got the spin-off.
Hold on, wait. Hope there was one with
Do you
the.
understand
There was
that?
one with the
Hello.
Latino.
That is-
there was
that's
one
a
with the
lot.
Latina lady.
Hello, Family Matters. We were
Family Matters.
TGIF. We were
Obviously,
must
Fresh
see
Prince.
TV. Fresh, I mean, everything.
What was the one with the Latina girl who went to the School of the Arts in LaGuardia? I'm gonna look that up though. Hold on, y'all keep going.
I'm sorry, I don't know. But anyway, we.
You care nothing about. Oh my goodness.
I love it. No. But yeah. Anyway, so this was that quintessential 90s film that was like, we're not going to pretend race doesn't exist, but we're not going to hammer it home. Everybody here is equal. If white people act out of line, we're going to call them out just a little bit. We're not gonna hammer it home. It's not gonna be heavy, like over, sentimental, whatever. Like, I mean, that wasn't what this film was about. And we're gonna have fun. You know what I mean? It is this part of like the idea in like the 90s, like black people are cool because like black people were cool, man.
Yeah, just
they
cool,
were just
just
cool. And it
cool.
was like it replaced the 90s helped replace the thinking of like black people aren't lazy, they aren't stupid, they aren't degenerates, hooligans, all this stuff. It was just like
Right.
they're just cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, if you're black, you're a cool. Like and like even though that's somewhat, I'm sure there's still something in there. If an Africana studies teacher came in there, they would explain to me why that was
Right.
somewhat
Well, it's like
problematic.
reductive and
It's a little reductive and stuff, but like it was, to me, it was like the step forward. And you would think, great, we're here now. In 93, we're going to get to a better place. And I don't know why it didn't happen, but it wasn't the fault of this movie.
No, it wasn't. And the thing is,
This movie did everything to be
great.
like, yes.
It even brought us new talent. You
New
know what I
talent.
mean? Like Lauryn Hill and the other kids who were singing and stuff.
Yeah,
It was like,
even
look
if they
at
didn't
these
get
young
utilized.
black actors.
but they were still there. I mean,
They were still there.
I think about this movie. I also think about what was it that show, New York Undercover, which had like a black dude, a Puerto
Malik
Rican, a
Yoba.
Latina, like lieutenant who was in charge. Tiana was the name of the
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
Tiana was on it was on very shortly, but it was like I remember Tiana because like she was in the city and she was in like Manhattan and she was like learning. And it was an art school. And
She was like,
listen,
Oh.
already we named like
Martin
15,
Lawrence,
20
hanging with
movies.
Mr. Cooper.
hanging
like-
on this. We could keep doing
Man,
it.
we could
And
keep
that's
going.
the dream.
Yeah.
We've gotten to 20 in the 90s. Right now in 2016, we got what? Technically, we got
Blackish.
We got Blackish. We got Fresh Off the Boat,
Empire.
Empire, and we got
If you
Jane
count the
Virgin.
dramas. Like by the
Yeah,
way,
the
we were
All
only
sitcoms.
counting sitcoms.
Yeah, so I said New York Undercover. All sitcoms. Technically, we got 3. Jane the Virgin.
Jane the Virgin, that's good.
Was
Right.
it Jane the Virgin? And then
An hour long.
And I guess Master of None, maybe. If you,
Master of
None.
None. Master of None.
all right. Anyway,
We got
so,
4.
I know it's getting
We
a
went
little
from-
better in the TV, but film. Anyway,
from
so
22.
3 Black Fists. Whoopi is awesome. I'm sure we'll do some more of her films. We didn't talk too much.
We didn't
gotta
talk
get
about how
deep.
she's kind of changed now.
We
She's
didn't-
got
yeah,
some
we skated over it.
But we're going to talk about the Whoopi we grew up with.
Right.
Yeah,
We were
I
talking
don't
about
say
nostalgia
Whoopi.
Whoopi, not like Whoopi now. Because, like, look, here's the thing, man. When people grow up, when people get older, they start saying some stuff. And you're just like, damn, you're not.
Well, I think it also speaks to what you mentioned about her being raceless, and we wonder how
Right.
does that
It's
really get in
affected
your
her.
head, and how do you think about that?
I know.
because some of
I
those
mean,
things
to me,
about-
to be in the spotlight for that long.
Exactly. You get it twisted.
Yeah,
but
you
get it
start
twisted.
getting it twisted.
And it's like, to be honest, it's like not defending her, but it's like when you've been in the spotlight, you've won your Oscar. You've done a
Right.
table. I mean, think about it. Even this Oscar season, Sidney Poitier kind of said some stuff about African American actors and just being better. And it's like, hey man, you won one. Like,
well, because you know
like,
what it is. They're
bruh.
talking about from how they did it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the culture that they grew up in and what they had to do.
Right.
So it's like to me, I give people passes because it's like, yeah, I get it. You're talking about what you had to go through, how you did it. This is the knowledge that you can impart. It's impossible for them to know what's
What it is
happening
now.
now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
they
just
old,
can't
so I
know
gotta
that.
respect what old
That's what I'm
people say.
saying. They're old, and like
Like, I
take their
respect
wisdom and then and then everything else you just throw
Toss
out.
it in the trash.
Yeah, it's like, man, Whatever, God bless.
We love. Honestly, if there are elderly people listening to our show, we love you. Is that our word? Is that? I feel like old people is not right.
Elderly. You're right.
Elderly, right?
Let's say aged like fine wine.
It's like fine wine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Our
saying?
elders. I feel like
elders.
You know what's something?
Elders.
Elders
Elders is
sounds
good.
better than elderly.
Elders is good.
True. But I do like just referring to old people as fine wine. If there's any
Fine wine.
fine wine,
A
listen
little
to
fine
this.
wine. You know what I'm saying? Who like young dudes. I'm trying to quit my job.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Naomi, is there anything you'd like us to plug? Your Twitter handle?
Sure. I mean, I think it's on brand for the podcast. It's at Blacktress. Spelled exactly how you think it's spelled. You just got to get on Twitter early.
Boom,
You're welcome.
boom.
Yes.
Broad City is still in its season. Keep watching that.
Keep
Braylock
watching.
was on this season.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was.
Braylock was on this
good with the
season.
slick back.
The slick back. I remember
slick
watching
hair.
that photo. Ooh, man.
Watch that. What's the Whoopi one was just the one before, I think.
It's like two
Two episodes ago.
Oh, yeah.
They reenact, Seamstress Act. Sean Diston, a UCB performer, is the token black guy in it. I'm jealous of him, but
Yeah,
also
right.
so excited because it looks so fun.
Well, they
So
also
good.
had Chris Gethard dressed up like Ahmad.
Oh, what?
Like, they had him in the kufi. Didn't you see? Like, they
I
had
did
Chris
not see
Gethard
that.
Did
like,
have the
with like a vest,
That's
like a
funny.
kente vest. Like, it was just like,
Yo, that's so
good.
good.
Oh, Lordy
That's
Lord.
so good.
Great. Nothing else? We're good?
Nope.
Great. Thank you so much for being
Thanks
here.
for coming.
Honestly. It was
Oh, can
great.
we go out on a song?
Oh, we should definitely go out on a song.
Which one? There's
and
so
have
many
Nick
good
fade
songs.
us out.
Also, I
Well,
looked
we-
it up. It's
kinda sang them
green
all, but-
beans. Hey, and collard greens. That's. I looked it up, but we don't have to sing that one. 'cause that's not a real song.
I don't know it.
The only other song we haven't sung is Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from you. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from you. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
No rain. Oh, I was going. Are we not going anymore?
See you next week. Bye-bye. Hey guys, Jonathan Braylock here in the studio by myself. I'm about to do some plugs. Sorry, I yelled at you. First up, guys, New York City Podfest, NYC Podfest, May 22nd, Sunday, May 22nd, 3 p.m. Buy your tickets now. They are on sale. Check out our website. And by the way, our website, it's now just blackmenpodcast.com. That's right. We finally stopped being cheap and bought the domain name. blackmenpodcast.com. Plus, I've been like tinkering around with it. I think it looks pretty nice. Thank you, Squarespace. Even though you're not necessarily paying for this plug, but like, thank you anyway. So yeah, go there. You can click on our. I think I named it shows or events or whatever. It shows. Click on that. We have the link up. Also, we have 2 more shows of Journey Through Black History. If you are in New York City, we have 2 more shows, and that's it. It's going to be over. So, Thursday, April 14th at 8 p.m., or 2 weeks from then, Thursday, April, let's see, if you carry the 7 plus 14, 28th. Also at 8 p.m. Those tickets are also $5. That's right. We giving you comedy for mad cheap. So come out. Personal plugs. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at John Braylock, JONBRAYLOCK, johnbraylock.com for my own shows and stuff like that. And I got Snapchat, Little John 2001. That's right. I didn't do John Braylock because I'm stupid. Honestly, I should have just did that. But I don't know. I had this thing where it's like I don't know if I want everybody looking at my Snapchat. So, but now I'm getting it out publicly, so it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Little spelled Little Jon, the year 2001, 2001. You can follow Jerah. Jerah finally got a Twitter at Jerah Milligan. I don't know how to spell his name though, so figure that out. And James at James Third Comedy. That's third 3RD. The number 3, and then RD. At James Third Comedy on Twitter and Instagram, jamesthirdcomedy.com. And next week, we are reviewing the film The Spook Who Sat by the Door. That's right. The Spook Who Sat by the Door. You probably don't know what that is. It came out in the 70s. But we have a special guest with us. I'm not going to say his name just in case it doesn't happen. But we'll talk about it next week. But we got a special guest. It's a good one. It's going to be fun. So go watch that movie. It's online for free on YouTube. And honestly, there's no other way to watch it. So that's not even just watch it online on YouTube for free. Anyway, that's about it. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
That was a HeadGum podcast.